Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have the continuation of the story from one of our brothers, who was sharing with us the kind of unthinkable things he has done and the consequences that he is facing now. We've already listened to the genesis of his story and what led him into this situation after he met someone he thought was a God sent into his life.
I was walking on a path going to a place that I have no idea where I was going. Suddenly, I saw a very old man with a long beard with his hair all in grey. The man was calling me from afar. And as I got closer to where the man was, I could feel I was sinking. It was as if the place I was walking on was turning into water. When I got to the man, he held my hand and welcomed me. He told me he was asked to come and meet me. He took the lead and asked me to follow him. As we walked, the more the water was coming up. We walked to a point where we were covered with the water. But then, the clothes that I was wearing was not wet. We came to a place and this place was very nice. This was a very nice city. And as we walked by, anyone that we meet will bow to the man that I was walking with. We entered into a big place that seemed to be like a palace. We got there and there was this very big throne. But then, there was no one sitting on the throne. All you could hear was a voice coming from this dark smoke that was covering the throne. As soon as we entered the place, the voice started to laugh and it mentioned my name. It said to me, "My son, welcome home. I know why you have come here. You want me to bless you beyond measure." I said yes, I want to be blessed with money and wealth. The voice continued that, "There is nothing impossible at where I have journeyed to. But for me to have what my heart is desiring for, I will also have to give something in exchange of what my heart wants." I said I was ready to do anything that would be asked of me. The voice was laughing again. It said to me, "Once I desire this, I will have to lose what is also dear to me." I said okay. Anything that will be for the exchange, I am cool with it. As soon as I said that, a door opened and I could see money in different currencies in that room. There was gold too amongst the monies in the room. The old man then asked me to go to the room where the money is. As soon as I entered the room, the door closed and I was back to myself.
Like I said in the previous episode, the message was sent to us on a scanned paper. So, please bear with us if we miss some of the words or something when reading them out to you. As part of our policy, I've edited the names, locations to hide their identity. Without wasting much of your time, let's go and listen to the story.
The day came and I went with him to this temple. They call it the Creation Temple. We went in and when you enter into this place, you will go upstairs and take and wear a black robe before you will go and sit in the main auditorium. Most of the things the leader taught that day was all taken from the Bible, but then, it was as if their understanding of the Bible is way deeper and different from what is being taught in churches. After the sermon, he took me to the leader and told him about me. He told him that I wanted to join their religion and be blessed by the master of all knowledge. That's what he called the one they worship. They really looked organized. And the leader called me to sit with him. He had a discussion with me. He asked me if I was a baptized Christian. I told him yes, I am. He said that was a good step. I was wondering why he would ask me about that. So, I asked him why he did ask if I was a baptized Christian. He laughed and told me that was part of what makes people qualify to be part of them. He said that, if one is not baptized, there are things they cannot do to help that person. He again told me that, even with the Christians, they do not know how to make good use of the Bible that they are always boasting of. After about 15 minutes of some revelations by him, he asked if truly I wanted to be a part of them. I told him I was ready. He said they will have to initiate me and present me to the master of all knowledge. For them, they call their baptism initiation. He told me to go and prepare for the next meeting. They will perform my initiation for me. I asked him what are the things that I would need to bring before I can be initiated. He smiled and told me that I don't have to worry myself over that, because it was their responsibility to do that for every new member, and even go to the extent of giving the person a seed money to start his life. an act to show how much they appreciate any new member joining their fraternity. At this point, I knew I was closer to becoming somebody big. Because, judging from the people that were there alone, you can answer for yourself that whoever joins them will automatically become rich. I returned home to meet my wife sleeping and the children too were sleeping. I didn't wake anybody up. I just went to bath and also went to sleep. I just couldn't sleep the whole of the night. The thought of me becoming rich and be on my feet again was just going through my mind all night. Early in the morning, I woke up and left some money on the center table without waking anybody up. I stepped out. I headed to the man's workplace. I wanted to go and thank him. Even though I had not done any of the things that I was supposed to go through, I knew somehow in my heart that I was going to be rich soon. He came to meet me at the workplace, and when I told him that I was there to thank him for introducing me to the people, he laughed and told me that he felt my spirit was searching for someone to help him. That's why he decided to do it. So, when we went to the temple for my initiation, all this while, I was thinking it was some kind of church gathering, but then maybe their way of worship was just different from the way typical Christians do their things. I was given water to wash my feet before I entered this particular place where they had a swimming pool type of water. But this one was small. I was supposed to be baptized in it. That they said was the beginning of my initiation. I was baptized. And right after his baptism, I was given a white robe to wear. Then I was made to sit on a mat in my white robe. The leaders there all gathered around me and they started speaking in a language that I honestly didn't understand. But then, one thing I realized was that the way they were speaking was just like the way Christians speak in tongues in their various churches. After every break in their citation or tongues, a very reddish liquid will be poured on me. After a while I was asked to close my eyes and focus on my inner self. Some few minutes into doing that, I felt a very hot sensation within my body. After a while, I could actually see that my spirit was out of my body. I saw myself, which they later told me was my spirit. I saw that I was walking on a path going to a place that I have no idea where I was going. Suddenly, I saw a very old man with a long beard with his hair all in gray. The man was calling me from afar. And as I got closer to where the man was, I could feel I was sinking. It was as if the place I was walking on was turning into water. When I got to the man, he held my hand and welcomed me. He told me he was asked to come and meet me. He took the lead and asked me to follow him. As we walked, the more the water was coming up. We walked to a point where we were covered with the water. But then, the clothes that I was wearing was not wet. We came to a place and this place was very nice. This was a very nice city. And as we walked by, anyone that we meet will bow to the man that I was walking with. We entered into a big place that seemed to be like a palace. We got there and there was this very big throne. But then, there was no one sitting on the throne. All you could hear was a voice coming from this dark smoke that was covering the throne. As soon as we entered the place, the voice started to laugh and it mentioned my name. It said to me, "My son, welcome home. I know why you have come here. You want me to bless you beyond measure." I said yes, I want to be blessed with money and wealth. The voice continued that, there is nothing impossible at where I have journeyed to. But for me to have what my heart is desiring for, I will also have to give something in exchange of what my heart wants. I said I was ready to do anything that will be asked of me. The voice was laughing again. It said to me, "Once I desire this, I will have to lose what is also dear to me." I said okay. Anything that will be for the exchange, I am cool with it. As soon as I said that, a door opened and I could see money in different currencies in that room. There was gold too amongst the monies in the room. The old man then asked me to go to the room where the money is. As soon as I entered the room, the door closed and I was back to myself. When I came back, I saw that nobody was there. I was all alone. I realized I might have gone for long. Because when the rituals or initiation started, it was around 10 a.m. But then, when I came back, it was around 10 p.m. I got up and walked out of the room. I saw that they were in one of the halls talking. As soon as they saw me, the leader welcomed me and they all congratulated me as if I had won something huge. They all started writing checks for me one after the other. Now, the man that took me there was asked to make sure I invest the money wisely. Because it was out of that investment that the master was going to bless me. Days went by. And it became months. I had set up a water business. I was producing water. My water company is now one of the most popular water brands in the country. The man came up with a plan that I should be in the house with my wife and then he will call pretending to be someone who had received a recommendation from someone about me. And as such, he wanted to meet me. So, we did that and that is the reason why setting up the business delayed into months. He wanted it to be believable to anyone. So, he did set up the business and made it look like he was employing me to look after the business for him. Business was moving on well and after a year of things going on well for us, my wife started becoming slim. This was not normal. She visited hospitals upon hospitals and she was told the same story that nothing was medically wrong with her. So, in the third month when her issue started, I returned home from work only to see my wife dead on our bed. It never occurred to me that I was responsible for her death until after my 2 children were also dead. What happened was that my younger son was knocked down by a car and when his brother saw what had happened, he collapsed and hit his head on a stone. So, it was when I told the members of this religion about what has happened to my children that the leader asked me to narrate what happened when I left my body. So, after I told them, that was when he explained to me that was the choice I made when the exchange of what is dear to me was presented before me. That was when I realized all the wealth and everything that I was enjoying was actually me sacrificing my family for it. This thing has been eating me up and I am not even myself again. This was my own doing and not anybody else. I had actually exchanged the life of my family for money. I am weak inside out. I am dying. I feel my soul wants to leave this world. I have been doing a lot of rituals in order to help me come out of this thing. But the more I try, the harder it becomes. I remember one day when I had returned from work, I came home to meet my door opened. Shocking and surprised, I slowly went inside and what I saw in my house is that there was this black cloth in my living room and small pieces of them leading into my bedroom. I went to the bedroom with fear only to see a coffin in my room. I ran out to call this traditional priest to come and help me out. He came and promised to help me stop what was going on in my house. He asked me not to touch the coffin and also told me not to sleep in my house until some sacrifices have been done. He collected the things that are needed for the sacrifice and brought them to the house. The ritual was done and he asked his 2 boys who came with him to carry the coffin outside. They set fire into the coffin. And for more than hours, the wooden coffin was not burning. But then, this traditional priest did all that he could and the coffin finally burnt. At long last, my burden was gone. That was what I was thinking. I never knew that what was ahead of me was even stronger and bigger than what I had faced. When I sleep, I see my wife and children trying to force me inside the coffin. And when I manage to escape from them, they will be chasing after me. Every time I close my eyes, I see them. Sometimes they will be chasing me with things, like they want to hit me with it. This is why I have decided to write to you, to see if anybody out there can help me with a solution. Please brother, help post it so I can see if I will get help from anyone out there. Thank you and I will be reading through the comments to see if anybody can prescribe any help for me.
Please kindly subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. I hope we've all learned something important from the story. In our quest to make money, please let's be mindful of the choices that we make. Because it can either make or unmake you in a long run. Remember, life is not a race, where we all must fight to make it to the finish line in time. Our destinies are different, so choose how you live your life wisely. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.